Hello, my name's David Fletcher. I'm one of the catalog historians here at Thomaston Place Auction Galleries in Thomaston, Maine. On January 14th, we will be holding our Native American Arts and Artifacts auction. We are honored to have temporary custody of these significant Native American artifacts, mostly from the Plains tribes, spanning the era from the Battle of Little Bighorn in June of 1876 to the Wounded Knee Massacre of December 1890, the 15-year climax of generations of conflict, 131 years ago this month. This collection comes from a gentleman of the West who holds Native American history in great respect, as signified by his repatriation of the pistol and knife of Chief Bigfoot Spotted Elk, who died at Wounded Knee, to the Minneconjou Sioux on Indigenous Peoples Day this year, facilitated by Thomaston Place. These are witness pieces, present connections to history. Gathered over the course of 5 decades, the collection is centered on an original 1910 album of Pueblo portrait photographs by Carl Moon and the war shirt of Sioux Chief George Standing Bear, who fought at Little Bighorn. His shirt is presented in the 1914 case from Moon's display in his Sacramento, California shop. This is lot 1022, Standing Bear Little Bighorn war shirt from Carl Moon's collection. Chief Standing Bear, Upper Brule of Oglala Sioux, sat at the Council of 1868 treaty, the War Council of 1876, and was a signatory of the treaty with the Sioux Nation on 27 October. He was sent to Spotted Tail Agency, where he witnessed the murder of his uncle, Crazy Horse, with whom he had ridden during Little Bighorn. Removed to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, he opened a dry goods store and ended up sending all 5 of his sons to the Carlisle Indian School in Pennsylvania. His eldest son Luther gave this keepsake shirt to Carl Moon, who he had befriended in Santa Fe. This buckskin and buffalo beaded war shirt would have been made by one of the chief's wives and was an honor granted by a shirtwearers society after his attaining a series of brave acts. It was probably not actually worn during the battle. It was 100 degrees and the warriors would have fought nearly naked and greased to make it more difficult for the soldiers to unhorse them. If not worn, it was certainly stowed with his treasured possessions in camp, and absolutely would have been worn at the council and treaty meetings. There is a hole under one arm, possibly from another fight. This incredible artifact has never been made available to the public. This is lot 1001, the Carl Moon album. This album of 40 portrait photographs by Carl Moon is an artist-assembled display album from Moon's Sacramento, California retail shop, circa 1910. It is a gathering of sensitive portraits of the Pueblo Hopi and Navajo peoples from New Mexico and Arizona, all identified, having a gold-tone portrait of Pedro Cayet on the cover and the last image being hand-colored. Moon was a seasoned collector, is represented by many other items in this sale. His photos rival those of his contemporary master Edward Curtis, who he knew, and are influenced by Frederick Remington, who was a fellow writer. His portraits are deeply sensitive, sometimes more intimate than Curtis, and sell for thousands each today, never available in album form, arranged by the photographer himself. And now we have lot 1002, the Deadwood Tribal Trial album. This is a small but significant album from the trial of Crow Dog, chief of the Rosebud Agency Police, who murdered Brule Teton Lakota chief Spotted Tail in August of 1881 in Deadwood, in a political conflict. This is one of 3 albums found in the office of the Deadwood, South Dakota Police in October of 2000. One remained in the jail, one went to the Deadwood Museum, and this one came to our consignor. It holds one pictograph version of the event, but more importantly, signatures of all those present, white and Native American. This case established independent reservation law enforcement, as it had been resolved within the tribe by the gifting of horses, money, and a blanket to the widow of Spotted Tail until the U.S. Regional Office retried him under non-agency law. He was convicted but ultimately freed in an appearance in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Contains approximately 80 autographs, including Brigadier General John Cook and Spotted Tail Jr., his mark, chief of the Brule Sioux, plus the autograph of A.J. Plowman, the attorney for Crow Dog, who would go on to challenge and ultimately overturn his conviction in the U.S. Supreme Court, and U.S. Attorney Hugh Campbell, who prosecuted the Deadwood case, plus Reverend William J. Cleveland, who officiated at Spotted Tail's funeral. And very oddly, 2 pages in Chinese. And now a very important lot, lot 1012, a rare 1860s buffalo hump shield from the Moon collection. This is Cheyenne Chief Thunderbird's horse shield, made from fire-hardened buffalo hide and displayed by Moon with the war shirt as his prized possessions. This early shield has Brave Horse Society markings, glyphs of buffalo tracks as part of the protective symbols, and it retains the original strap, stroud cloth, and bells. Heavy, thick, used in battle with witness scars, inherited by Chief Thunderbird from his father, Buffalo Bear, and given directly to Moon, one of the finest horseback warrior's personal shields in existence. And now the companion piece, Lot 1033, a rare pre-pony combat shield. This is a late 18th century pre-pony hand-fighting shield in buffalo hide with the original straps, decorated with a running buffalo, used in ground combat with knife or spear in the Roman gladiator manner. These fell from use with the introduction of firearms, but were valued by families for generations as a relic of earlier times. At only 16-inch diameter, this tiny shield was the only protection traditionally allowed in combat. And now a group of quivers. Lot 1014, the only cougar or mountain lion hide bow case and quiver experts have seen, circa 1880 to 90. This is a Southern Plains full warrior's kit, with the rare intact Osage orange bow and 3 arrows, retaining extra accessories, the bowstring, a drawstring, braided handle with awl, and strike a light bag. Nice European glass beadwork decoration. In its time, this had the equivalent value of a good horse. Next is Lot 1013, a Sioux quiver set with pony bow and 3 arrows. This is a great warrior set with marks for 10 battles, 8 coup marks, and 8 marks for coup without successful theft. This set was remarkably rejoined from coast to coast, the bow holder found in Massachusetts after the quiver was published in a book in Arizona. And now Lot 1006, a trophy shield carried at Little Bighorn. This is an 1820s Comanche hardened buffalo hump shield captured by Hunkpapa Sioux one hand and carried at Little Bighorn. The 1860s cover has a green Thunderbird figure and Hawk Clan markings. One hand, born in 1821, was a member of Sitting Bull's Isira band of the Bad Bow, Tenazipe Sika, and therefore never married. And now another Little Bighorn associated piece. Lot 1007. Fort Peck Lakota rifle scabbard carried at Rosebud and Little Bighorn. This was made by Black Dog for her son Sitting White Buffalo, born in 1852, Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux, to fit a carbine and later extended. Sitting White Buffalo rode with Gall and Kangiska at Little Bighorn, then escaped to Canada, surrendered in 1881 with Gall and 52 other families, and lived out his life on a Standing Rock reservation. Brain-tanned hide with early lazy stitch beading and togia marking, retaining the original pony strap and fringe. Next is Lot 1034, a Warriors Club possibly carried at Little Bighorn. Upper Plains Pony Club circa 1860 to 70. Experts recognize this as one of the finest surviving fighting weapons of the period. It is decorated with brass tacks and used for successful coup and X's for battles, and retains the original tassel and feathers. Collected from the Sioux who had fled to Canada and purchased by the Royal Ontario Museum in 1976. Beautifully crafted, well balanced. And now Lot 1019, one of the Winchester rifles in this collection, a model 1873 Winchester and a probable Little Bighorn carry. This rifle was owned by Northern Cheyenne warrior Two Feather at the time of Little Bighorn. He is well recorded as having been there, and his markings on this include Little Wolf's Elkhorn Scraper Society of the Cheyenne and a cross-chasing mark of Little Chief's dog soldiers. Two Feather rode with Crazy Horse and Two Moon at Rosebud, and with Two Moon at Little Bighorn. His horse was shot from under him, and he fought on foot running alongside Beard's horse. In April 1877, he surrendered with Two Moon at Fort Keogh to General Miles. And now a group of items from the Geronimo Mangus Caves. Mangus was a nephew of Chief Mangus Coloradas, who was killed in 1863, unifier of the Apache Nation with Cochise. Before his final surrender in 1886, Geronimo's people hid in the Dragoon Mountains of Arizona en route to Canada, concealing their weapons in caves known to Mangus. The first of these is Lot 1018, a cave gun from the Geronimo Mangus camp and a Little Bighorn carry. Chiricahua Apache 73 Winchester rifle probably carried at Little Bighorn from the retreat of Geronimo into Canada when the weapons were hidden in caves in northern Arizona. Tojia indicate this belonged to Oglala Sioux warrior Thunderbull, who fought at Rosebud and Little Bighorn. He died in 1914 and was buried in Wind Cave in the Black Hills. A Hakoya Akasita warrior, he was buried in the caves as a guardian of the underworld. This may be a rare surviving grave rifle that was also retrieved from the Mangus caves and has never been publicly offered. Next are two companion pieces from the caves. Lot 1015 is an 1870s quiver from the Geronimo Mangus camp from the Moon Collection and the Drebe Collection. Chiricahua Apache bow and arrow quiver and pony hide associated with Geronimo, with spirit feathers attached to make the warrior more cunning and quiet. It's from the last camp of Geronimo before his surrender when the weapons were hidden in caves. Mangus Coloradus, the unifier of the Apache Nation, killed in 1863, helped to hide in the Dragoon Mountains of Arizona and surrendered in 1886 in Skeleton Canyon, Arizona. Lot 1017, the 1870s Horsehide Purse Piece rifle case, was from the Geronimo Mangus camp, also in the Moon Collection, also in the Drebe Collection. It's a remarkably intact Chiricahua Apache Winchester carbine gun case with a dagged green trade cloth edging and having an attached knife sheath holding a small antler-handled knife and a cartridge pouch. It retains the original strap and matches the pony skin quiver of Lot 1015 from the same source. The last two companion pieces in the sale come from the collection of 13 rare knives. Lot 1049, the rare Blackfoot dagger with a bear jaw handle that belonged to Fast Cloud Sunbull and he made for the ghost dance. It was the duty of each participant in the dance to make a weapon to be carried as part of the ritual. Knives were most often the weapon of choice. And Lot 1046, the historical Mandan grizzly bear jaw knife. This has a strong resemblance to the one that appears in Charles Bodmer's painting Assiniboines and Cree Attack a Small Encampment of Blackfeet, painted in 1833. It has a Jukes Colson stamped double-edged blade and is proper in form and patina. Impossible to prove, but fascinating to think. And last but not least, Lot 1021, the Abraham Lincoln Associated child-size rifle given to his son Robert by him on his 12th birthday in 1855. Made by Joseph Golcher of Philadelphia, who was active 1836 to 1855, with provenance, with a later engraving in the wooden stock that reads, "My dearest son, Robert Todd Lincoln, happy 12th birthday, August 1, 1855. These are just a few of the 73 artifacts from this private collection that are included in this sale. This auction will also include more than 150 items of 19th and 20th century Native American art, pottery, rugs, and jewelry. These items are pictured in numerous books and articles, including In Search of the Wild Indian, photographs and life works of Carl and Grace Moon, and Who's Who in Indian Relics, number 9.